high call series.
Morning, children. So, in the last class, we have completed it about the Great Indian Desert, and now it's a time for us to learn about the Southern Plateau. Okay. So now we are going to learn about the Southern Plateau. So, what do you mean by a plateau? Yeah. Out of the different kinds of landforms, we know mountains are the highest ones. Yes, then comes the hills, right? And then comes a plateau, and then comes a plains, and then comes a the oceans, seas and all, isn't it? Yes. So mountains are the highest or the tallest physical features. It has a conical top, right? Pinnacle. Hills are small mountains. That's it. Okay, and they also have a cone-shaped top, and this is what a plateau is. Okay, so plateaus are raised landforms or high landforms, but lower than a hill, and yes, it has a flat top. Okay, they usually have a flat tops, and usually we can find the hills at both the sides of these plateaus. Okay, so plateaus are nothing else but high landforms with a flat top on that. Okay, now we have a very big plateau region in India, especially in the southern region of India, and that is what we call the Southern Plateau. Okay, so this Southern Plateau is actually in the shape of a triangle. Okay, so if we consider this as a southern region of India, a representative map, this land area in the southern region that lies in this triangular shape is actually a plateau, right? So we know the southern India is actually a peninsular region because it's a land area which has got the water bodies on three sides, isn't it? We have a Arabian Sea in the west, Bay of Bengal in the east, and the Indian Ocean at the south. And that land itself is a triangular shape, and within that we can find this a southern plateau in this particular shape of a triangle, right? And it's surrounded by this particular triangular shaped plateau region in the southern India is surrounded by a range of hills. In fact, we can say there are some other regions also which is actually a part of this plateau region in India. We know, forget this for a while. So we have already seen that the Great Indian Desert lies here, isn't it? This is the Great Indian Desert, or the Thar Desert we call it, isn't it? Yes. And at the west, the eastern side of it, there is a range of mountains known as Aravalli Mountains. Which marks actually the eastern boundary of the Thar Desert. And below that actually we have the Vindhya Satpura ranges. Okay, so these are the Vindhya Satpura ranges. Right? So, right from this Aravalli ranges onwards, we have the plateau region actually. Just below the northern plains, we know northern plains lies here, and to the west of that is the Great Indian Desert, and below that, the region that we have almost in a triangular shape is what we call the Great Southern Plateau. Right? Um, it is surrounded by hills actually. It's surrounded by a lot of hills. We know Vindhya Satpura mountains are here, and on the eastern side we have a broken chain of mountains. We call that the Eastern Ghats. Okay, the Eastern Ghats actually are on the eastern, coastal side of India, and on here, the west, we have a continuous range of mountains and hills, not mountains, and that is called the Western Ghats. Right? So, the Southern Plateau region actually lies in between, or the three sides, Vindhya Satpura on the north, then eastern Ghats on the east and the western Ghats on the west. So this triangular shaped land region, which is actually a plateau, is located in between these three hill ranges. Then we have a large number of famous hills are there. For example, Papikondalu, Nallamala Forest, those hill regions that we have in Andhra Pradesh actually belongs to this one. Then the land beyond that, especially in the regions of Rayalaseema, isn't it? Yes, that actually comes as a part of this plateau region, right? Then, so the height of this plateau region, the Deccan Plateau is not evenly, raised. It is oddly raised. Means it varies in its height from place to place. At an average, we can say the height of this southern plateau ranges from 600 meters to 900 meters above, sea level. So sea level is the base from which, from where we measure the height of a landform or the altitude of a place, isn't it? Yes. When we check with that, the height of this southern plateau ranges from 600 meters to 900 meters. At some places, it's even more than 900 meters, but average is something around 900 to 600 meters. Right? Then we have heard about Narmada river valley, isn't it? There is a river called the Narmada which actually flows in this region and it joins the Arabian Sea near Gujarat. So this river actually divides the entire plateau region in India. Right? It divides the plateau region in India into two parts. So the regions above that, up to Narmada Valley from the Aravalli Mountains, this region is known as the Central Highlands. Right? So from the Aravalli Mountains up to Narmada Valley, the regions are known as the Central Highlands, and below that is called as the Southern Plateau. Right? So in the Central Highlands, we have two major plateaus. Right? So there are two major plateaus that are there in the Central Highlands. So here in this region, we have the first one, and the northeastern side, we have the second one. So the first one is known as the Malwa Plateau. The second one is called Chota Nagpur Plateau. Right? There are two major plateaus that are a part of the Central Highlands. They are the Malwa Plateau and the Chota Nagpur Plateau. Chota Nagpur Plateau actually ends in Bihar. Okay, Bihar, then Jharkhand. Those regions actually come under Chota Nagpur Plateau region. It's very famous for the mineral deposits that we have over there. Chota Nagpur Plateau is very famous for an immense amount of mineral deposits, right? So the Malwa Plateau actually lies in between the Vindhya and the Satpura range, and on the eastern side of Satpura range, there we have the Malwa Plateau, right? Malwa Plateau region, this particular region is actually rich with black soil. So, in the northwestern side of southern plateau, the southern plateau is also known as a Deccan Plateau. Okay, so this major plateau region is also known as a Deccan Plateau. So, this Malwa Plateau region and the northwestern part of the southern plateau region or the Deccan Plateau region has rich black soil over there. So this black soil actually is formed out of lava. So what do you mean by lava? Yeah, we know when the volcanoes erupt, a lot of magma, lava, all these kinds of things come out, right? So this particular soil that we find in the Malwa Plateau region and the northwestern part of southern plateau region are actually formed because of a volcanic eruption, right? Because of a volcanic eruption. So there was somewhere here in this region a big volcano which erupted so many years ago. Okay, the magma that was under there that has come out, that have flown into all these regions, settled, and then they got changed into this very fertile soil. Right? So this is very suitable for a large number of crops like cotton, chili, sugarcane, etc. Okay. So, but the problem is that we need irrigation facilities over there because plateaus are highlands, isn't it? Plateaus are highlands and rivers are mostly found in the valleys, the lowlands, isn't it? Yes. So we need a good amount of irrigation to be done so that the fertility of this soil can be well utilized. Okay, so the regions or the states which actually come under this plateau region include Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, and Andhra Pradesh. Which are the states? Gujarat. Yeah, we have Gujarat here. Then we have Maharashtra. No? Then have Madhya Pradesh. We have Malwa Plateau in Madhya Pradesh. Then Odisha, border part. Then we have Kerala, Karnataka. Then Tamil Nadu. Above that we have Andhra Pradesh. And beside that we have Telangana. Okay. All these regions are there in the southern plateau region, and as the plateau regions starts just below the Aravalli mountains, some part of Rajasthan also is there in this region. Okay. Now, this particular river Narmada, which splits this southern plateau region into two. The northern part is known as the northern highlands, and the bottom part is known as the southern plateau. Right? So the regions around this Narmada Valley, then this Chota Nagpur region is very famous for so many mineral deposits. Not just that, there's a southern region also, southern plateau also. Kolar gold mines. Kolar gold mines, one of the most important and vastly used gold mine in India, which is known as Kolar gold fields, that actually lies in Karnataka, belongs to this particular region, where the southern plateau region. Then we have another place near the Narmada Valley, which is known as Panna. Okay, Panna is a very famous mining region for gemstones like diamonds. Then, Chota Nagpur region, which actually belongs to Bihar region, it has a very vast deposit of mineral wealth over there. We can find iron and steel there. Okay, then coal mines are there in the Chota Nagpur region. Then manganese, mica, bauxite. Okay, so iron and steel, coal, manganese, mica, all these kinds of minerals are available in the Chota Nagpur region of the plateau regions of India. Then we have coal is one of the most extensively found mineral wealth in this region, right? We know Singareni, no? Singareni, which is now in Telangana. Yes, it actually belongs to this particular plateau region, right? Then we have Giridih. Giridih is a coal mine region in Bihar. Then Jharia and Bokaro are two major coal mining regions in Jharkhand. Then Raniganj is a famous coal mine in West Bengal, right? And with or along with coal mines, we usually find iron ore deposits also. And so we have a very good number of iron and steel industries also in this region. Okay, the famous iron and steel industries in India like Jamshedpur, Rourkela, Bhilai, Bokaro are all located in this northern part of the southern plateau region. So industries related to iron and steel mining, processing, and everything, they are usually found along with the coal industry. Okay, so this region, Singareni or these regions in Jharkhand or West Bengal, these regions have got a very good coal deposits, and these coal deposits always come with iron and steel deposits. Okay, so we have yes, these Jamshedpur iron and steel industry. Then Rourkela is one of the most important and very famous iron and steel industry in India. Bhilai steel plant is very famous. Then Bokaro. So this Bhilai, Bokaro, these plants are actually not just famous, some of the oldest ones in the fields also. Right? So then we have a very famous fertilizer factory by the name Zindri. Right? So the famous fertilizer factory Zindri is also found in the same region. Okay. So as we have Narmada flowing to the west, we have another river which flows in the east, that is Mahanadi. Right? So Mahanadi flows in the east, and the sorrow of West Bengal. What is that? Damodar. Mahanadi actually flows through the plateau region, and it flows through Odisha. There is another famous river by the name Damodar, and Damodar flows through West Bengal. Right? So Mahanadi flows through Odisha, and Damodar flows through West Bengal region. And there are so many other rivers also. We have already seen Narmada here, then we have Godavari coming here, then we have Krishna, then we have Kaveri, right? So there are plenty of rivers also there in the southern plateau region, including Narmada or Damodar or Mahanadi, Godavari, Kaveri, Krishna. But the speciality of these rivers are, they are shorter in length. We have seen in the northern plains, we have some of the longest rivers, right? Ganga or Yamuna or Brahmaputra or Indus. These are very long rivers. But when it comes to southern, see, we can see, here we have much more place, but here it is very less. So obviously the size of the rivers also will be less. Another thing, these are seasonal rivers. They are not the rivers like those rivers in Himalaya. So the speciality of rivers in Himalaya was that they will have water throughout the year, isn't it? They will have water throughout the year. But for the rivers in the peninsula region, the problem is they get water only during the rainy season. They get water only during the rainy season, right? Because they are not originating from any regions where they have ice-capped mountains. Okay, so rain is a major source of water for the rivers in the southern peninsula region. So during summer, when it is the temperature goes extreme high, there are much chance for these rivers to go dry also. We have already seen some rivers, when we read about the northern plains, there are some tributaries of Yamuna, like the Chambal, river Chambal. So they are actually flowing, yeah, from the Aravallis, isn't it? Huh? From the Aravallis. So they are going like this, or the Vindhya Satpura region, and they are also seasonal rivers because they get the water only during the rainy season. Clear? Same is the case of southern Plateau region rivers also. Here we have a region called the Chhattisgarh Plain, which is actually getting the water from the dams that are constructed on the river Damodar. Fine. So Hirakud Dam is on a Mahanadi here. This is Mahanadi, no? So there we have another river called dam called Hirakud Dam. So these rivers, Mahanadi and Damodar, they flow to the east and join the Bay of Bengal. They are seasonal rivers, but during rainy season, it gets flooded. The area. The entire area gets flooded during the rainy season, and that is why often Damodar is known as the sorrow of West Bengal. The sorrow of West Bengal. It creates innumerable problems over there, like the disaster that the river Damodar caused during the rainy season is very big, very big. Okay, see, when we observe, we can see that, see, the rivers all are flowing from the west to east, isn't it? Huh? We do not have much rivers that flows in the other direction. Most of the rivers are flowing from the west to the east. That means this region has got a slope towards the east. So the entire plateau region, the southern plateau region has a speciality that they are raised at the western side and sloped towards the east. Okay, so most often what happens is that these rivers actually originate from the western Ghats region and flow to the east and join the sea over there. Okay, now some of these regions have got a very thick forest covers also. Forest covers means what? Plenty of trees are growing there. So we have already seen that the Malwa Plateau region and some region of the Deccan Plateau have a black soil, which is actually the result of a lava explosion, isn't it? Yes. So those areas which have received this lava, which came out of a volcanic explosion, has a black soil, and the other regions actually have a yellowish kind of a soil, reddish or yellowish soil, because usually the hill soil is reddish in color with a lot of stones, rocks, and all. Okay. So the problem with this soil is that it doesn't keep water in that. They cannot hold water for a long time. So in case if we want to do some cultivation over this region, definitely we have to provide irrigation facilities over there. Okay. So both the black soil gets, it can hold water but not for a long time. Okay. So these red or yellowish soil, they drains the water off quite quickly. Okay, so in both these soils, like a black or a reddish or a yellowish, it needs irrigation as something very compulsory if we want to have some cropping done over there, right? Then the climate in this region is hot during summer and cool during winter, right? Now, this southern part of this, the southern plateau or the Deccan plateau, as we have just said, has a slope towards the east, means it's raised in the western side and it's sloping towards the east, and that's why we have got a plenty of rivers also there, and these rivers are very famous also, right? So in this region, we can find a thick, dense forest regions also, and there are a lot of what do you call it, tourist or religious places also here, right? In Karnataka, we have got one of the most famous waterfalls. So one of them is called the Jog Falls. Okay, the Jog Falls is on the river Sharavati. Okay, so there is a river called Sharavati that is actually flowing in Karnataka, and it has one of the most famous waterfall called the Jog Falls in it. Then, in the river Kaveri, which is actually flowing in the southern region in Tamil Nadu, we have the most famous dam called the Mettur Dam. And we have another river Krishna, which is actually originating in Karnataka and flowing through the states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. We have Nagarjuna Sagar Dam on that, right? Then there are other dams also. Godavari actually it originates in the states of Maharashtra. It flows very long distance and goes through Andhra Pradesh, and it goes through Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and then reaches Bay of Bengal. So all these rivers are basically used for the purpose of irrigation. So the soil that we have in this region is fertile, and we have good irrigation facilities. And the dams are constructed on these rivers basically for the purpose of irrigation and electricity production. Okay, so hydroelectricity is most importantly used electricity in this region, and they are produced during through the construction of these dams. And after that, the water is used for irrigation facilities. Most of the famous cities in the South India, like Bangalore, Mysore, then Coimbatore, Hyderabad, Amravati, Pune, Nagpur, Bhopal. So they are some of the most important and the famous cities in the south. They are located in this plateau region. Okay, so the cities like Bangalore, Mysore, Coimbatore, Bangalore and Mysore are in the state of Karnataka. Then Coimbatore is in Tamil Nadu. Then Hyderabad, Telangana, Amravati, Andhra Pradesh, Pune, Maharashtra, Nagpur, Madhya Pradesh, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. So they are all situated in the plateau region, right? Then we have some famous hill stations also in this region. For example, we often talk about Ooty and Kodaikanal, isn't it? Yes. So Ooty and Kodaikanal are two famous hill stations which actually falls in the Nilgiri hills of the Western Ghats. Okay. Then this is not that thickly populated region. The Deccan Plateau is not that thickly populated, except for these famous cities that we have mentioned. Right? The major activity over this region is agriculture, where there is the soil is black, or wherever black soil is available and irrigation facilities are available. So those regions we have a very good agriculture with the help of irrigation. Without irrigation, it's impossible. Then another major activity is industries based on the mineral deposits. So we have seen a very good amount of mineral deposits are found in this region, and industries that are based on these minerals are usually found in this region. Then the region is also famous for cultivation also. For example, the black soil, cotton, chili, tobacco, sugarcane. Then much of the regions in this, much of the states in this regions actually produce good amount of rice also, isn't it? So other major crops, rice basically are from the coastal plains, northern Deccan plateau region. Okay, so the crops that are mostly grown in this plateau region include tea, tea on the western cuts, yeah, near Ooty, Nilgiri, Munnar in Kerala. So they have very good tea plantations over there. The hilly regions in Kerala and Karnataka are also famous for another beverage crop called coffee. Then, you know, rubber is mostly cultivated in the plateau regions. Then, oil seeds, groundnut, pepper. Pepper is also grown in this region. So these are some of the major crops that we get in this region, right? So that is about the southern plateau region, which actually starts next to the Great Indian Desert to the south, Aravalli Mountains on the north, then eastern cuts on the east, western cuts on the west mark the boundaries for this particular region. And Narmada River on the northwest cuts this into two parts, the central highlands, which means on the northern side of Narmada Valley, and the southern valley is known as the southern plateau region, right? So that is about the southern plateau. And now we will check with the exercise part of this. So the PDF of this particular lesson is attached along with the video link from where you got the video link, right? So you can download that also, and you can go through the lesson and read and understand the lesson thoroughly. Okay.